we do have accreditation and certification from Activet, from Oshad. We are a ISO certified company. All right. We do have certification with Exemplar Global. So this course basically is internationally accredited for Exemplar Global. Okay. Of course, Nbiz Infosol provides services. Okay, we do have consulting services, training services, and auditing services. When it comes to training, we do provide different courses from different field. You know, from health and safety to information security to IT service management, as well as ISO courses. And one of the courses that we provide is the course that we are, taking right now, which is the ISO 9001 2015 Lead Auditor courses. So there are other training, soft skills training, train the trainer, HR management trainers, and those other courses that we actually provide. When it comes to consultancy and auditing services, okay, these are the international standards covering the services of Nbiz Infosol. We actually help organizations to develop their processes, okay, their procedures in different international standardization like quality, environmental, health and safety, business continuity, information security, as well as the occupational health and safety management system. Of course, we do provide auditing services, internal or external audit with this international standards. All right. So currently, these are the ongoing training that we have. We do have ISO 45001 2018 Lead Auditor training. This is related to health and safety. The 9001 2015, the ISO 22301, which is the business continuity, and the Nbosh IGC. Of course, we do have coming up training for information security management system, PMP, or the project management professional, and the Nbosh IGC training. So to know more about our organization, you may please contact us to with our website www.nbizinfosol.com, or you can call us with the numbers published in the slides, and you may look for these names as the contact person. All right, so that is all about our organization and this Infosol. So basically, with this training course, I've been doing this for more than 10 years already. Okay, been helping organizations to develop their processes as a quality consultant and an auditor as well. All right, so that is all about me. Of course, I wanted to know you as well. So maybe we can start with Ms. Zara. Ms. Zara?
Yes, hi.
Hi, Ms.
Morning.
Zara. If you can just please
Hi.
tell us about yourself.
Sure. Yes, this is Zahra. I'm working at HCT, Higher College of Technology. I'm working with as IT service desk management. What else? Yes, I'm actually my main specialization is working with the ITSM. So I think this course will be very important for me as I'm dealing with service management.
Great. Okay. So how long you been working in the industry, madam?
It's been around 5 years.
5 years
so far,
already.
yeah.
All right. And
Yes.
are you doing audit already, internally or externally?
Not yet. Yeah. I'm looking actually to to learn more about auditing.
Okay. And if you may please tell us your expectation with this quality management system lead auditor course.
Actually, I don't know much about it, but like I don't have an experience with auditing, but I think since it's related also to service management, I think it will be really useful for me.
All right, cool. All right, so nice to know that, madam. Hope you will enjoy the course. All right, so
Thank
let's
you.
move on to Mr. Hussein.
Yeah, hello, this is Wajahat Hussain, and I'm working in the at a Salat telecommunication company, and I'm doing audit in it, internal audit of the different sections since 4 years. This is a basic requirement to do audit, so I should have a ISO certificate because this is a whenever the external auditor is coming, he's asking that all the staff is trained and they have ISO training. So this is a main thing which I am going for it. Regarding my qualification, I have done MBA as well as MCS in the field. So that's all about me.
Yeah. So basically, Mr. Hussein, you are a quality internal auditor of Itisalat.
Yes, yes.
I see. And this training that you took for QMS lead auditor is something that a requirement of your organization for you to be certified. Like having a certification as a lead auditor.
Yes.
Okay, great to know that. So if you will rate yourself from 1 to 10 when it comes to auditing, how do you rate yourself?
Around 7, 8.
7, 8 for auditing. But
Yes.
basically, you're mainly doing internal audit,
Yes.
and you are facing external auditors during the certification audit of your
Yes.
company.
Yes, yes. When the external auditor is coming first, they are asking about us that all employees, all auditors, they are certified of ISO. So this is actually basic requirement from there.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right. So nice to meet you, Mr. Hussein. All right. Hope you can share with us your experiences, okay, your knowledge when this external auditors is auditing you related to the quality management system requirements.
Yes, sure.
Great to know that. All right. Moving on to Miss Kulud. Hi, Miss Kulud.
Yeah, hi, good morning, everyone. So I'm Khulud Al-Hamadi. I'm right now attorney engineer, a construction project, like a fixed term project. And I'm studying now a Master of Engineering Management in Abu Dhabi University. That's it. I think this course will be valuable يعني, for me, for my future job, inshallah.
Great to know that. And if I may just ask, Madam Khalid, any experience in auditing for quality, internal or external audit?
Yeah, honestly, I attended both the external and internal audit in my first project, which was a Mughira project. Yeah, so I had an idea a little bit.
Okay, great to know that. Hope we can also learn from you based on your experience when you had this auditing previously in your project.
Yeah, inshallah. I just was a listener, يعني. I
Great.
wasn't a member of the audit, but inshallah.
Okay, thank you so much, madam, and nice to hear from you.
Okay.
All right, moving on to Miss Shaima. Hello, Miss Shaima. Miss Shaima, are you there? Miss Kim? Miss Maria? All right, so let us start with the house rule. All right, so in this course class, I'd like our online class and discussion, okay, to be informed, to be respectful, thoughtful, and engaged. So let us set a ground rules that we should follow to make this happen. Okay. Of course, I wanted you to listen actively, attentively, and carefully. All right. So it is very important that you ask question when there is a clarification, when there is a doubt, and I definitely give you a answer to the best of my ability. All right, so do not hesitate to. Hello. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. The voice was breaking.
Yes, yes.
The
Now
voice
we
was
can.
breaking a while ago. Seems like I was disconnected from the internet. I'm sorry about that. So let us continue the discussion with regards to the house rule. As I was saying a while ago, class, all right, since we are using the Zoom application for this online training, I do hope that every one of us are aware of the basic function of the application. All right. So to avoid distraction and interruption, kindly ensure that your audio is muted so that everyone will not hear any background sounds or noises around us. So you may unmuted your audio if you wanted to speak, if you wanted to share your ideas, or if you find something is confusing, or if you wanted to know more. So please do not hesitate to ask question or any clarification on the topic. All you have to do is to uh, click on the raise hand button. So you will actually see that in your Zoom application. Okay, I hope you can see the raise hand button there. And of course, from time to time, I may be, calling your name to ask you a question, or if you wanted to, share your ideas, please do so. All right. So the with regards to the attendance for this course, okay, this will run for 5 Fridays. Today is the first day, okay, August 13, August 20, August 27, September 3, and 10. All right, so the class will start at around 9:30 in the morning. It is just that today we started 10, but on the next session we will start at 9:30 and we will end at 3:30 in the afternoon. Okay, so we will have, of course, a short breaks, a short breaks for 15 minutes, maybe in the morning and in the afternoon as well. And we will do have a lunch break, of course, from 12:30 to 1:30. Is that okay for you, or any suggestion with regards to the lunch timing? Normally we do this from 12:30 to 1:30, but if you have suggestion, please. Any suggestion, class, for the lunch break, or it's all good for you to have it on 12:30 to 1:30?
It's fine with me.
It's
From
fine.
1
Okay,
to 2 would
great.
be much better.
I'm sorry, madam.
Yeah, I think if we shifted from 1 to 2 would be much better, because even 12:30 the prayer do not start for
So 12:30 is not yet started, so we can have this from 1 to 2. Is that what you are suggesting?
Yeah, if everyone accepted.
What about the others, class?
Actually, today is a Friday, as you know, that we have to go for pray. So
Yeah, 12:30 is
12:30
late,
Okay,
I
yeah.
think. Yeah.
Otherwise, we'll miss the pray time.
Okay, it
So
is
better
okay,
to,
because I'm from Western region. That because I'm saying that Al Adhan is not at
also
12:30.
12:30.
Okay.
The
Yeah,
prayer
but
is
I
starting.
forget that.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
no problem. Okay, so if all agreed, we will have the lunch break then from 12:30 to 1:30 in the afternoon. All right?
Agreed. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Now, with regards to your attendances, class, this is a must. Okay, that you attended all the session, and the training coordinator, Miss Aliza, will definitely monitor your attendance accordingly. All right, so please be reminded as well that in this training, we have to keep an open mind. All right, let us enter in the classroom dialogue with the expectation of learning something new. Okay, so we have to respect others' views and opinions and have the understanding and acceptance that there will be, differences in opinion. So any challenging, any disagreeing is welcome, okay? But it should be conducted respectfully. All right. So throughout the training class, I will not tolerate discriminatory practices in any way, in any shape, or in any form. Okay, so at the end of this course program that will be on the 5th Friday, okay, so you will be asked to complete an evaluation form. So it is important that you are honest in your evaluation, as your evaluation will influence the future training programs of Nbiz Infosol, and of course this can be used to improve our future training as well. Okay, so that is all about the ground rules of this training. Is there any other question or anything else that you wanted to add in the ground rules? Please feel free. All agree, or anything else that you wanted to add? Please welcome. All right, so if there's none, okay, let us go ahead and discuss the structure of this course. So basically, class, okay, there is two methods in this course session. All right, so we have the learning methods and the evaluation methods. So during the learning methods, on the first 4 Friday that we will be having for this course, of course, there are tutorials, discussion with regards to the requirements of ISO 9001-2015. All right, there are exercises and case studies. For the evaluation method, of course, we do have a continuous assessment and the formal examination. So when we talk about continuous assessment, all right, during the class, your instructor, will definitely assess you based on your participation, okay, based on your exercises, the way you participate in the class, okay, during the recitation, things like that. With regard to the formal examination, all right, on the 5th Friday, there is a examination for this course, and that will take around 2 hours. Okay, so with regards to the examination, as you can see in here, there is a criteria that you should meet. Okay, so just like what I told you a while ago, you will be assessed based on the continuous assessment and the written examination. Okay, and we do have here the result. Okay, so we do have the first possibility, second possibility, third possibility, and fourth possibility. Okay, remember, class, that if you pass both the continuous assessment for the first and second possibility, definitely there is no action that you should do for the first possibility. Okay, but in the second possibility, if you pass on the continuous assessment and you fail on the written examination, the final result would be fail, and you need to retake the examination within 12 months. On the third possibility, okay, for the continuous assessment, if you failed but you pass in the written examination, still the result is fail. And in the fourth possibility, of course, when you both failed on the continuous assessment and on the written examination, the result would be failed, and you need to reset to the whole class. Okay, so our objective for this training, of course, is to bring home the certificate, okay, for the ISO 9001-2015 Lead Auditor course, correct? This is our objective, yeah? Do you agree?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Sure.
So that is our objective, to bring home the certificate, to get passed. Okay, and really, I need your full cooperation and commitment. Okay, because this will help you when you do an audit. Either this is an internal audit or an external audit in your organization based on the requirements of ISO 9001 2015 requirements. Okay, so that is the assessment for the student. So remember, class, that in the examination we do have 4 sections. Okay, so we have section 1, that is 10 marks. In section 2, that will give you 20 marks. Section number 3, that is 30 marks. In section number 4, 30 marks. Okay, so the total marks is 90. The passing mark is 63. That is at least 70%. Okay, and it is important that in each of the section you should get a score of 50%. Okay, and you will be doing the examination for 2 hours. Okay, but then we can extend for like 30 minutes more for the examination. So remember, class, that the examination is a open standard. Okay, so you can use the standard for ISO 9001 2015 and the standard for ISO 19011 2018 during the examination. Okay, so on the fourth Friday of the class, we will be having a mock examination, a discussion about the look and feel of the examination, so that you'll have an idea, about the exam. All right, so is there a question, or is there any other clarification with regards to the examination, class?
Yes, I have one question. The certificate which we'll get at the end, it will be recognized by this IRCA.
The certification will be accredited by Exemplar Global. It's an international certification from US.
So, okay. Okay.
Yes. All right. Now, let us discuss the training objectives of this course. So basically, at the end of the course, the learning outcome is that you will be able to describe the purpose of the quality management system. You will be able to know and understand the requirements of ISO 9001 2015. And of course, you will get a skills on how you will plan, how you will conduct, how you will report, and do a follow-up audit, okay, based on the requirements of the international standard ISO 9001, okay, and effectively how you will do an audit based on the requirements of the ISO 19011. Okay, so these international standards are very useful, okay, when we do an audit for the quality management system. And it's very important, class, to understand the requirements, because this is something like, a guide for us, okay, on how we will carry out an audit based on QMS. All right, so as an introduction for this course, let us discuss the purpose, the benefits, okay, the principles of quality management system. I do believe that all of you knows and aware about ISO, yeah? So your company are all ISO certified? I believe Mr. Hussein, his
Yes.
company is already ISO certified, yeah, because external auditors keep on visiting your organization.
Yes.
Okay, great. What about Madam Zara, Madam Khulud, Madam Shaima, and others?
Yes, they are.
The company is already certified also with ISO 9001. Cool. Now, Mr. Hussein, if you can just please tell us your awareness or understanding about ISO, how this work, maybe you can share with us.
Yes, actually, it's ISO is the standard to maintain the processes and the documentation in the standard way, which is defined by the ISO clauses, which is, I think, content of organization, leadership planning, support, operation, performance evaluation, and improvement. It's covering that, and we have to maintain our record as per the standard, whatever they define, and follow those standards. Actually, the other word we can say is the standard of measurement, the product or service against the values defined inside the organization to fulfill the customer requirements.
Right, exactly. Thank you so much, Mr. Hussein. By the way, class, I just wanted to tell you that the slides that we are using for this training is actually published in your account. I do believe your contact person from Nbiz InfoSol shared with you the link. You have the username and passwords where you can access this presentation. Okay, along with that, of course, if you go through to your account, you will be accessing also the international standards for quality management system. This is this international standard for quality management system that we will be using for this course. Okay, and also there is another standard which is the standard for auditing a management system. All right, this is the ISO 19011-2018 guidelines for auditing management system. Okay, so just for your information, all of these documents are all published in your Moodle account, the Nbiz Learning Management system. So I hope you've gone through that already. Okay, if it's not, then you can go through to your account to access this materials. Okay. Now, moving on to the ISO, just like what Mr. Hussein have, shared with us. Okay. ISO is an international organization for standardization. Just to give you a background about the story of ISO. ISO actually began in the year 1946, when the delegates, 65 delegates from 25 countries, they met at the Institute of Civil Engineers in London, and they discussed the future of international standardization. So in the year 1947, the ISO officially comes into existence with 67 technical committees. They are a group of experts focusing on a specific subject. All right. So that is the story of ISO, how it started. Okay. So ISO class is an independent. It is a non-governmental international organization with a membership of 165 national standard bodies. And through its members, it brings together experts to share knowledge and develop a voluntary, consensus-based, market-relevant international standards that support innovation and provide solutions to global challenges. So the job of the ISO class is to make international standards. In fact, ISO is the world's largest developer and publisher of voluntary international standards. And this is actually, coordinated by a central secretariat, which is based in Geneva, Switzerland. Okay, so ISO, as you can see, this is the International Organization for Standardization. Actually, class, this is not an acronym. All right. ISO actually comes from a Greek word, isos, meaning equal. All right. So the root for the prefix ISO is actually occurred in a host of terms, such as isometric, that means of equal measure or dimension, or isonomy, equality of law. So the founders of the ISO decided to give in a short form, which is ISO. Okay, so the name ISO is used around the world to denote the organization, thus avoiding the assortment of abbreviations that would result from the translation of International Organization for Standardization into a different national languages of the members. So whatever the country you are, okay, whatever the language that you speak, we are always ISO, or organization, International Organization for Standardization. Okay, so that is all about ISO. So the key principles of ISO development is to basically, respond to the need of the market. Okay, so ISO standard is developed, okay, because of the request from an industry or the other stakeholders, such as the consumer group. So typically, a industry sector or group communicates the need for a standard to their national member, who then contacts ISO. Each of the country have agency representing in the ISO organization, and they are having a membership of a full membership, or either they are observer, or they are a subscriber member, during the development of the international standard. Another key principles in the development of ISO is that the standards are developed by a group of experts from all over the world, and that are part of a larger group, called technical committees. So this expert negotiate all aspects of the standard, including its scope, the key definitions, and the content, the requirements of international standards. And of course, another key principles in the ISO development is that the standard is a consensus-based approach, and comments from all the stakeholders from different countries. They have this 165 members around the world, right? So these members basically, all right, are being taken into consideration. They are taken into account in the development of the international standard. So that is the story, or the way of ISO working, developing a international standard. All right, so is there a question? Any other clarification about ISO class? Or hello, can you see my slide, class? Because
Yes, sir.
Yes.
I received a message that the slide is not showing.
This is before, I think.
Okay. So now the slide is showing, yeah? Right.
Khulud, I think. It's showing, yeah? Okay.
Okay, the purpose, benefits, and principles of QMS. Yeah, now let us talk about quality management system. All right, so Anyone who would like to share their knowledge and awareness about quality management system? What is this is all about? Anyone? Mr. Hussein, maybe?
Yes, quality management system, as I said, this is a actually set of let's say processes and policies for organization to measure their performance.
Mm-hmm.
We can say
Right.
like that. Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. Madam Zara, any other idea about quality management system? You can relate this to your workplace.
I don't know much, but I think, yeah, it's like processes and procedure that the company needs to follow to achieve like a specific performance, to improve its performance.
Correct. All right. Thank you so much. You know what, class? When we talk about quality management system, all right, this is a management system in the organization where policies, procedures, okay, an SOPs, work instructions, okay, are in place in the organization. So, for you to be able to set an objective, you know, that you wanted to aim in the organization. So that is a quality management system, ensuring that the products and services that you are providing in the organization meet all the relevant customer needs and expectation, and of course to comply with all the relevant statutory and regulatory requirements. Okay, so that is the quality management system. So we do have benefits of a quality management system. ISO 9001-2015 is a quality management system. And as you can see in here, all right, the evolution of ISO 9000 is that it was first published in the year 1987, updated in the year 1994, okay, and then again in 2000 and 2008. So the current version was published in September 2015, and this is the 5th edition of the ISO 9001 standards. It cancels and replaces all the previous edition. And what is current right now is the ISO 9001-2015 standard requirements of quality management system. All right. Now, so in here, class, we do have a purpose of implementing a quality management system. All right. So the purpose of this is to basically enhance customer satisfaction. You know, ISO 9001-2015 is all about customer satisfaction, ensuring that the customer of the organization is happy with the products and services that we provide. Okay, when we have a management system in the organization, we will be able to analyze the requirements. You know, the processes, the policies of the organization will be controlled, will be managed. And of course, this will be a improvement for us, you know, to have a continuous improvement in the organization and satisfy all of the requirements that we set or any other requirements that we need to comply. Either this is a regulatory or a statutory requirements. Okay, so that is the purpose of quality management system. So there are a lot of benefits of having a management system in the organization. You know, as you can see in here, internally in the organization, there is a effectiveness and efficiency. You know, when you do have a quality management system, you are enhancing the customer satisfaction. Okay, eliminate process errors and process errors and efficiency, okay, easy market entry for your products. When you do have a ISO certification, that will give you a new business opportunities. Maybe you have noted here, if you wanted to have a business with one organization, normally they will ask you for a copy of your ISO certification. They will ask you a copy of your manual of your procedures. Okay, so external auditors or suppliers come and assess your management system because they wanted to deal with an organization who is having a management system, and in that way, that can actually, gain new business opportunities in the organization. All right, and of course, to expand into a new market as well. Having a management system will also help you to identify and address the risks in the organization. All right, so that is the benefits, okay, of having a management system. Now, let us talk about the principles of quality management system. So actually, class, we do have principles in management system. All right, so what are those principles? When we talk about principle, class, this is a basic belief, a theory or a rule, that has a major influence on the way in which something is done. So the management principles are a set of fundamental beliefs and norms, okay, or values that are accepted as true, and that can be used as a basis of a quality management. So these principles that we're going to, discuss is used as a foundation to guide an organization's performance improvement. They are actually developed, class, and updated by the International Expert of Technical Committee 176, okay, which is the one who is responsible for the development and the maintenance of ISO quality management standards. And one of the principles is customer focus. Now, my question is that why do we need to focus on our customer? Ms. Kulud, any idea?
Why do we need what?
To focus on our customer. Why this is important?
Because since we focus on our customer, we fulfill the requirements or the demand exactly. So we will gain more money,
Exactly.
as an organization or as a company.
Exactly, that is true. Class, organizations depend on their customer, and therefore we should understand the current and future customer needs. We should meet their customer, we should meet their requirements, and strive to achieve customer expectations, because there are benefits of us as an organization if we focus on our customer. Of course, it will enhance the reputation of the organization. Of course, the organization will have more money. There are how to call that, profits of the organization if we focus on our customer. And of course, remember, class, that when we talk about customer, it's not only about our clients. Even in the organization internally, employee is also our customer. Like, say, for example, HR department. Who is the customer of HR department? The employees. Like, say, for example, if an employee is requesting for a certificate of employment, they are issuing that. Yeah, they are the customer of HR department. Who else? For example, procurement. Who is the customer of procurement department?
The employee who will
Employee.
purchase from them.
Exactly. Employees who are requesting for purchasing requirements in the organization. Okay, so if there is a purchase requisition, procurement department will process the procurement requirements, the products or services that these employees require. All right, so that means that when we talk about customer satisfaction, we are not only focusing on the external customer, which is the client. Okay, even internally within the organization, the employees is also a customer. And in that way, internally as an organization, we have to meet the requirements. We need to exceed to their expectation for us to have a customer satisfaction. Okay, so internally, of course, the benefits of having a customer focus is that we increase the value of the employee, their satisfaction, their loyalty. All right, so that is customer focus. Now let us talk about leadership. Okay, why do you think leadership is important? Miss Shaima, are you there? Shaima seems like not there yet.
Not available yet.
Okay. All right. Ms. Zara, leadership. Why do you think this is important?
Leadership.
Yeah.
I think leadership is important for any company. Everyone needs something, guidance for the employees, the assets, the capital,
Yeah.
To feel that's it. I don't have.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Okay, so elaborate further. Okay, leadership. Who is the leader of the organization? The top management, right? Either your CEO, your general manager, your managing directors, or the managers of the organization. So they are the leaders of the organization. And it is important to note, class, that leaders establish a unity of purpose and direction in the organization. And they should create and maintain the internal environment in which people can, fully involve in achieving the organization's objective. As a leader in the organization, you should be a role model. Okay, so there should have a commitment from them, ensuring that quality management is a priority in the organization. And the benefits of having leadership is that, it will increase the effectiveness, the efficiency in meeting the objective of the organization. Of course, better coordination of the organization's processes and improved communication between levels and function of the organization. All right, so that is the principle of leadership. Mr. Hussein, if you can please discuss to us the third principle, engagement of people. Why is it important to engage the people in the organization?
Yeah, it is important to engage in the different activities to achieve the goals, whatever set for the staff, and fulfill the requirement of the customers.
Truly. Class, people at all levels in the organization, supervisory role, managerial role, staff, laborers, all people in the organization, they are the essence of the organization, and their full involvement enables their abilities to be used for the benefit of the organization. And remember that a competent, empowered, and engaged people at all levels throughout the organization are essential to enhance its capability to create and deliver value. And the benefits of this, people being involved in the organization will improve the understanding of the organization's quality management system by these people in the organization, and increasing motivation to achieve them. All right, so like say for example, in organization, we should involve everyone, even they are a housekeeping staff, even they are a laborer, they are a supervisor. We should engage all of them because they form part to the implementation of the management system. Remember, without them, okay, the management system of the organization will not work. They are all important. Okay, so that is engagement of people. Fourth principle class is about process approach. When we talk about process approach, these are the consistent result that can be achieved more effectively and efficiently when all of the activities in the organization are understood and managed as interrelated processes in a coherent system. The ISO 9001 2015 requirements, okay, they actually introduce processes, okay, because previously in the old version of the standard, the 2008 version, they required organization to establish a documented procedure, but now in the new international standard, they use the term processes, and that processes needs to be in place in the organization. So not necessarily mean that if you do not have a procedure, a documented one, that can be a non-conformity or a non-compliance to the requirements of the standard. A simple process flow charting for that process can be enough. Even the manual, for example, a quality manual is no longer a mandatory requirement for the new international standards. Previously, in the old version, they required organization to have a documented manual. And if you don't have a manual, that can be raised as a major non-conformity. But in the new international standards, this is not a mandatory requirement anymore. It is just becoming a mandatory requirement if the organization, if the company decided to have a manual, or say for example your customer, your supplier, or any other party required you to have a manual, then you should have a manual because it is a requirement, okay, of those interested parties of the organization having a manual. Okay, so that is process approach. Next principle class is all about improvement. Okay, so remember that a successful organization should have an ongoing focus on improvement, and a continual improvement of the organization's overall performance should be a permanent objective of the organization. All right, so that is improvement. So continually in the organization, we need to improve our system. Remember, class, that there is no perfect organization. If there is a non-compliance, if there is a non-conformity to the requirements of the international standards or to the requirements of any interested parties, there is always room to improve that. Okay, plan, do, check, act approach, the PDCA cycle. That is a cycle, focusing on improvement. If you plan something, okay, that plan needs to be implemented. and during the implementation you found out that there is a non-compliance, or there is a process that is not followed based on what you have planned, then there is always an opportunity for you to take act on it, improve that. And that is a process of continuous improvement in the organization. Okay, so that is the fifth principle. The sixth one is evidence-based approach. So what is evidence-based approach? So when we say evidence-based approach, when we are deciding for something, this is a very important process actually. But if I may ask you, usually, when you are in a workplace, or in your personal life, for example, how do you decide? Mr. Hossein, how do you decide in your
Actually,
workplace?
we will check the whatever the things are defined. It is according to that one. We have to physically check the thing. Either those things are achieving our objective. If achieving, then it is okay. If not, this means that we have to do some continual improvement to increase the thing. And we should have evidence to check anything before taking any decision. Whatever the things are defined in our document, we should have evidence of that one physically, either in the form of documentation or in the form of system, anything.
Right, exactly. Okay, thank you so much. Class, when we are deciding, in our workplace or in our personal life, it is important that we should decide based on evidence. And that's what the principal wanted us to do when we are implementing a management system. Sometimes we decide based on our gut feeling, which is, will give us positive result at times. But it is important, class, that when we are deciding, it should be based on the analysis of data and information, because decisions based on the analysis and evaluation of data and information are more likely to produce desired results. This will improve our decision-making processes. And if we are in doubt, in our decisions, we may need to ask our managers. We may need to ask the experienced people, the expert, personnel in the organization, because that is very important. Maybe their inputs, their insights will give and produce positive results when we are deciding. Gut feeling sometimes will give us good results, but then we need to analyze that gut feeling. All right, and that is actually a very important point that we should remember when we are implementing a management system. Now, another principle is relationship management. Why do you think we should have a good relationship with our interested parties? For example, why we should have a good relationship to our customer? Ms. Kalud, any idea?
Because if we have a good relationship with our customer or as a team, inside the organization, I think it is a way to know the root cause, like if there is any problem, we can know the root cause, etc. Like we can fix it easily. We can understand each other easily as a group. I don't know, that came to my mind.
Right, exactly. Thank you so much. Class, if we have a good relationship with our customer, definitely, they will stay with us. And when they stay with us, there is always a repeat business. And if there is a business, definitely there is a work to the employees, to the staff of the organization. All right. And that is a very important point that we should have as a principle when we are implementing a management system. Customer satisfaction. Of course, we should have a good relationship also with our supplier. Why? Why we should have a good relationship with them? Because if we do have a good relationship with our supplier, when we order, when we procure a product or a service, they will provide us a product with good quality. Like say for example, in a manufacturing industry, you require a raw materials that you will be using part of the customer requirements of the company, the products that you are producing or manufacturing. So you ordered a raw material. If you have a good relationship with your supplier will give you good quality raw materials. When you use that raw materials during the production of that product, okay, of course, that will result good quality of a product. And when you deliver that good quality products to your customer will be satisfied. He will be happy. There is no complaint. There is no, you know, issue or concern that they will raise. At the end, okay, the output is customer satisfaction. Your customer is happy of the products that you provide. The bottom line is that because you have a good relationship with your supplier, you have a good relationship with your customer, you have a good relationship with the government entity, with the other interested parties of your organization who is providing you external products or services. Okay, so that is an example of relationship management. All right, so those are the 7 quality management principles of ISO 9001:2015. All right, it is important that we should implement those principles in the organization because definitely this will give us good result. Is there a question? Is there a clarification with the principles of management system?
I have a question, but not related to the principle. What I know that the latest update of ISO 9001, it is in 2018. So why they are using the one in 2015?
All right. So that's a very good question. Actually, the 2015, 2018, 2020, this is the version of the international standard when was this released, For example, this ISO 9001, right, as you can see here, we'll go back to the evolution, this one. All right, as you can see in here, we have the year 1987, 1994, 2000, 2008, 2015. Okay, so the ISO 9001 basically published in this year. And currently, the latest version of the international standard is 2015 because this is the year when the standard has been reviewed and published. Now, what is the requirements of the review of the international standard? As per the ISO requirements, okay, as per the ISO policies and procedures, okay, all of the international standard will be reviewed every 5 months, 5 years. Okay, so if 2015 this was published, okay, 2020 they reviewed the international standards, and during the review of the international standard, they found out that there is no revision, meaning that the requirements that the clauses of the standard is still the same and there is no changes. So even if 2021 now, okay, it is still valid and updated. that can still be used by many organizations. Now, there are other international standards which was published in different years. Like, say, for example, ISO 45001 2018. This is the Occupational Health and Safety Management System. So this international standard was published in the year 2018. Okay, so they are using the year for this international standard to denote and to have a clear identification and traceability when the standard was released and published. All right, so that is the year of the requirements on each of the international standard. Any other question? Did I answer the question, Ms. Kulud?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Any other clarification, class? Any other question with regards to the principles of quality management system? All clear? All right. Now, so it's all clear, yeah. Now, as you can see in here, all right, we do have the overview of the quality management system model. A while ago, all right, Mr. Hussein told us about the clauses of the international standard, and this is actually the model of ISO 9001 2015. All right, so again, the international standard is based on plan, do, check, act methodology. All right, and we do have the clauses of international standard. We have clause number 1 to clause number 10. And this is the representation of the model for the clauses of the international standard. Like, say, for example, here, we do have the process approach representing the PDCA also. Okay, so we have plan, do, check, and act. So this is the input process. Okay, so we have the customer requirements as an input, and the requirements of the customer needs to be understood based on the context of the organization, the internal and external issues, as well as the needs and expectation of the interested parties. So these inputs will now need to be processed in the organization, considering the other clauses of the international standard, starting from planning stage, support, during the operation, the performance evaluation, the improvement. Okay, so this is now the clauses of the other international standard that needs to be complied with. And the output, of course, is the result of the quality management system, quality products and services, and of course, customer satisfaction. Okay, so this represents a process approach in the organization. Okay, so this is the quality management system principles. You know, the QMS model. All right. So, any other question with regards to this? Any other question, class? Any other clarification? All right, so if there's none, let us have a short break for 15 minutes. Okay, the time now is 11:20. Let's come back at 11:35. All right?
Yeah,
Okay.
Okay, 11:35. Let us just have a short break for now. Thank you so much. All right. So hello. Hello.
Yes, hello, welcome back.
Okay, welcome
Yeah.
back. I hope that you can hear me now. So shall we continue? Okay, so let us talk about auditing. All right. So please tell me, what is auditing or audit? Mr. Hussein, please share your inputs about audit.
Yeah, actually, auditing is we are checking the concern section processes and policies that they follows according to the rules and their targets, OLAs, SLAs, and KPIs defined. Either they are achieving as per that or not. And if we found any uh, thing missing or is not as per the procedure which is defined in the process document, so we
Mhm,
are recommending something called observations, non-conformity, and opportunity for improvement.
mhm,
So in the then after that we are doing uh, corrective action to check that they fulfill the requirements, whatever we suggest them in that document, and then close the those findings to ensure the continuous improvement is met. So
mhm.
it is the same thing which we discussed previously, like related to planning, doing, check, and acting cycle to ensure continual improvement process.
All right. Okay, thank you, Mr. Hussein. So let's elaborate that further, class. Okay, auditing. So when we say auditing, class, a quality management system audit share with many common features with financial audits, environmental management system audit, health and safety management system audit, etc. But the basic principles are the same. Okay, so when we talk about audit, this is systematic, this is independent, and documented process for obtaining audit evidence and then evaluating it objectively to determine the extent to which the audit criteria are fulfilled. In short, auditing is a mechanism for verifying that the organization's quality management system is in place and this is operating effectively. So when we talk about being systematic, class, being systematic, that means that the audit follows a series of logical steps and stages and then follows a prepared plan. You know, um, before an audit, there is a procedure of the organization. Audit program has been established. You appointed the auditors, who is the auditee, what is the scope of the audit, and you have to follow the procedure of the company of how you do carry out an audit. Okay, when we talk about being independent, that means that when you are doing an audit, this is something that you do this independently. Like say, for example, if you are coming from a procurement department and you are an auditor, basically you will not audit the procurement department. Or say, for example, if you are from the quality team, you should not audit your own department so that there is no conflict of interest, independent. Or it is not because we are friends, we are a close friend, and then while auditing your process, and then I will not raise a non-conformity when in fact there is really a non-compliance or non-conformity to the requirements of the standards or to your procedure. Okay, so independent. Of course, when you are doing an audit, it should be objective. That means that all of the findings are evidence-based. It should be critical because you highlighted areas of non-conformance. When we talk about documented process, that means that, when you do an audit, you check for documentation. You check the policies, the procedures of the organization, whether the policies and procedures are actually implemented. You document your audit in an audit plan, you have audit checklists, you have audit report to write the result of the audit. When you are doing an audit, you check for evidences, records of implementation. And when they present you those records of implementation, you evaluate them. And while evaluating, you check the objectivity of that documentation and determine whether the criteria that you set for your audit are fulfilled. Like, so for example, you are auditing procurement department and they have a procedure. So you check whether the procurement department's procedure is actually implemented. How do you check that? You check for the records, evidence of implementation. Like, so for example, in the procurement department's procedure, it clearly says that they should maintain a approved supplier list. So as an auditor, you may wanted to check the documents of the approved supplier list. Is it documented? Because if it's not, then you can raise a non-conformity. Because the criteria that you are using during the audit is the procedure for procurement. And clearly, the procedure of the procurement is not implemented by not maintaining a approved supplier list. And now you can raise a non-conformity. Okay, so that is the audit. So the intention of the audit class is to provide a critical feedback on the management system so that, appropriate follow-up action can be taken. And the audit process can therefore be viewed, sometimes as rather negative, since it will tend to focus on areas of weakness and non-conformances. In fact, some audits do not make any mention of any positive aspects of quality management system at all. They focus entirely on the weaknesses. And this is, however, inherent in the purpose of the audit, to identify the weaknesses so that they can be dealt with. But again, it is very important, class, that when you are doing the audit, okay, you audit them because you wanted to improve the process. Okay, you are doing an audit not policing them, not to find fault, but instead you wanted to improve what is not being complied with as per the international standard requirements, the organization's policies and procedures. So when you are doing an audit, it is important to look at the positive points as well, not only the negative ones. Okay, and you as an auditor, okay, it's very important that you will be part of the organization's success for continual improvement. So that is the definition of an audit. Is there a question? Any clarification, Ms. Zara? Is it clear, class, the definition of an audit?
Yes,
Sure.
all is good.
Okay, great. Now, let us talk about the types of an audit. So there is two types of audit, class. Okay, so three types actually. So we have first party audit, second party audit, and third party audit. Okay, so first party audit is a internal audit. Okay, when we say external audit, this is the second party and third party audit. Now let us talk about the first party audit. First party audit is also known as internal audit. So this audit is conducted by the internal auditors of the organization. You know, like, so for example, Mr. Hussein is the appointed quality auditor of his company. Okay, so basically, he is working with Itisalat. He is doing an audit within Itisalat. Okay, that means that he is a first party audit or internal audit. What he do is to evaluate the effectiveness of the organization's quality performance. You know, he checked the deficiencies, the inaccuracies, the policies and procedures of his own organization, whether or not it is implemented. That is the internal audit. Okay, now, when we say external audit, okay, there is two types of external audit. This is a second party audit, or also known as vendor quality audit or supplier audit. You know, in your company, okay, you have suppliers, you have vendors, right? So you basically audit your suppliers or your vendors or your contractors, whether they are complying to the requirements of the standard or any other requirements that you wanted to check. Okay, like, so for example, Ms. Zara is working with HCT, okay, and she wanted to assess the management system of their vendor, okay, XYZ vendor, whether they are in compliance to the requirements of HCT. Or say, for example, your customer, okay, your A customer wanted to audit you. So that means that is a second party audit. So the objective of second party audit is to basically check the vendors' requirements, whether they are in compliance to the organization's policies and procedures, to improve the vendor's quality system, and of course, to resolve any quality problems and issues. Okay, so that is second party audit. Third party audit are an audit conducted by an independent body. You know, usually the certifying body, the one that who is issuing you certification, you know. So this audit can either be voluntary, okay, as in the case of the certification audit, or a compulsory audit. You know, this is required by a law and regulation. So example of this is, for example, Mr. Hussein is working with Itisalat, okay? So they are ISO certified company, and the certifying body, you know, there are a lot of certifying body, the one who is issuing ISO certification. This external body will come, audit your company, okay, assess your policies, procedures, okay, your implementation of the management system, whether you are in compliance to the ISO requirements. Okay, once they assess that you are following the requirements, they will issue you ISO certification. That is third party audit. Mostly, ISO certification is a voluntary requirements. Okay, but then there are mandatory requirements, okay, or compulsory requirements required by laws and regulation. Like, so for example, some management system framework, like for example, the Abu Dhabi Occupational Health and Safety Management System system requirement. This is passed as a law. Okay, so the sector regulatory authority will do an audit mandated by a law, okay, to assess the health and safety management system of the company. And then they will issue you the certification. So they are also called as third-party audit. All right, so is that clear for the types of an audit? So there is two types of an audit, internal and external. Okay, when we talk about internal audit, this is with the first party audit. So when we talk about external audit, either this is a second party audit or vendor audit or customer audit, okay? And we have the third party audit. This is now the certification audit. Okay, so an independent body does an audit to your organization to assess whether you are in compliance with the requirements of the international standard. Okay, so that is the types of an audit. Is there a question? Any other clarification class about the two types of an audit? Ms. Zara, Ms. Shaima, Ms. Khulud, Ms. Kim.
All is good.
Okay. Mr. Hussein, thank you. All right, so it's all clear, yeah? Two types of an audit. Now, during the certification audit, okay, this is now the process of doing the actual audit, okay? In the certification audit, you know, that means third-party audit. Auditors will do stage 1 audit and stage 2 audit. Okay, so what's this stage 1 and stage 2 audit? So the auditors of the certifying body will evaluate, they will assess the quality management system of the organization, whether you are in compliance to the requirements of the international standards. In this way, they will do a documentation audit, okay, or documents review, okay? So like, so for example, company XYZ called for a third-party audit to assess their system. So they will now come and audit you, okay, and first check your documentation, okay? That is stage 1 audit. So the auditors will check whether you have policies, you have procedures, you have manual, the scope has been defined. Okay, you conducted internal audit, you conducted management review. Okay, documentation review. Okay, so once the auditor assessed that all the documents are complete in compliance to the requirements of the standard, you carried out the audit. Top management did the management review. They will issue you the report. Okay, and once the report has been issued, if there is a finding, if there is a non-conformity, the organization needs to close that. Once it is closed, now you will now schedule the stage 2 audit. Okay, and when we say stage 2 audit, this is now the on-site audit. This is now the auditors will do the evaluation and assessment on the implementation and the effectiveness of your management system. Okay, now, how stage 1 and stage 2 relates to each other? During the stage 2 class, okay, all of the documentation that the auditor assessed and evaluated during the stage 1 will need to be assessed and checked whether it is implemented or not. That is stage 2. That means that during the stage 2 audit, they will check records of implementation, any evidences of implementation with regards to the management system of the organization. Okay, like so for example, during the stage 1 audit, I am assessing whether there is a process of HR. Okay, so I will check the procedure of HR. Okay, procedure is available. That means that HR have a process in place. They are in compliance. During the stage 2 audit, okay, during the stage 2 audit, I need to check now whether the procedure of HR is actually implemented. Okay, I will now assess and check whether, okay, where is the records of the competency of the employees? Is there a training needs analysis? Is there a training plan? Is there a training evaluation form for the trainings conducted? You're now checking the records of implementation. That is stage 2 audit. Clear? Okay, clear class? Is there a question? Any clarification about stage 1 and stage 2? Mr. Hussein?
Yes, is it clear?
Okay. Now, there is also called follow-up audit. So what is follow-up audit? During the stage 2 audit, there might have some finding, either a major non-conformity or a minor non-conformity. Okay, so what will happen is that they will need to do a follow-up audit. Either this is an internal audit or external audit. Okay, I issued you the report, you received the report, okay, the NC report, the non-conformity report, you need to provide an action, correction, corrective action, okay, and along with that, the evidence of you closing the action. Now, the auditors will need to do a follow-up audit. They will need to visit again your organization, or they may call you or ask you to provide a evidence that you implemented the findings. That is a follow-up audit. Okay, now, recertification audit. What is a recertification audit? Okay, recertification audit is when the organization, okay, the certification of the organization has expired and you need to do a renewal of your certification. And before the renewal of the certification, auditors may need to do a recertification audit. Okay, so there are additional audits if it is required. A surveillance audit may need to be conducted also. Okay, so there is a surveillance 1 audit, surveillance 2 audit to check that you are continuously implementing the requirements of the standard. Okay, and then of course, if there is an extension of the scope, they may need to do a audit, the assessment of the organizations in compliance to the requirements of the standard. Okay, so sometimes, of course, there are short notice audit, like investigating of complaint when there is any changes happening in the organization. Okay, they will do a short notice audit. Multi-site audit is that when there are different locations, various branches in the organization, and you will do an audit of those locations. Okay, so that is multi-site audit. Like, so for example, you have a site in ICAD, and then you have a site in Musafa, okay, and then you have site in Abu Dhabi City. So are you going to cover these 3 sites? Okay, so that is a multi-site audit based on the audit programs that you have. Okay, so when we talk about audit trails, this is now the sequential process of auditing a system, beginning from the start to an end. Okay, so during the audit, let's say for example, you are checking now the HR procedure, and then you are checking the HR procedure now, and you are assessing the step-by-step process of the organization, and then you may need to cross references to the other processes defined in the organization, to the other documents available. Okay, so it is very important that you do this to know and assure that the full implementation of the management system is implemented. Okay, now I wanted to show you here the let me just share with you Just a minute. Okay. Okay, do you see the screen, class? I have shared with you, okay, another presentation. Okay, it's a blank presentation, and in here I wanted to show you, okay, how the certification will work. Okay, so basically, if your company gets ISO certification, okay, there is a process.
Sorry to disturb you, but the slide's not shown yet.
Not showing. Okay, let me just check.
I think it's loading now.
Okay, you can see the screen now.
Yes.
Okay, here. Okay, so before that, I would like to discuss first the process of certification and accreditation. Okay, so what is accreditation and what is certification? Okay, so when we talk about accreditation, class, this is a procedure by which an authoritative body gives formal recognition that the body or the person is competent to carry out specific tasks, and normally this is governed by the ISO 17011, 17021, and 17024. So these are all international standards about accreditation. When we talk about accreditation, like say for example, certifying body. Can you give an example of certification body? An idea? Maybe you heard of, maybe you know someone who's giving certification.
Yes, I know. Such as the lords, they are checking and reviewing the things, and at the end they are giving renewing the certificate.
Correct. All right. So certification body like PUV Nord. Okay. PUV Sud. Maybe you heard them. BSI. You heard them, right? Maybe you heard Brixton Assessment Services. Maybe you heard URS. So there are a lot of certifying body. So this certifying body will need to get accreditation. Okay, accreditation who is a member of ISO certification. Like for example, certification like Dubai, Dubai accreditation, DAC, or ELAC, or say for example you wanted to get UCAS accreditation. All right, so this certifying body will need to have an authoritative body that will give them a recognition that they are competent to do the task of doing an audit. So that is accreditation, and they should get an ISO certification for this. Okay, now when we talk about certification, this is the procedure by which a third party body, okay, gives written assurance that the product, the process, or system of the organization conform to the specified requirements. Like say for example, your company is getting a ISO 9001 certification. All right, now this certifying body like TUV, BSI, SGS, etc., will now evaluate, will now audit your system, whether you are conforming to the requirements of the international standard. And they will certify your company, and by certifying you, they will give you a written assurance in a form of certificate. So you will receive a certificate that the XY company is in compliance to the requirements of ISO 9001-2015 with the following scope. So it will now be written what would be the scope of the certification, and they will issue you the certificate. So that is certification. Okay, so as you can see in here, we have the accreditation body, just like what I told you. Okay, this is approved by conformity bodies with regards to the competence and of the body giving certification. Certifying body, they provide certification against the specified criteria. Now, this is an example of certification and accreditation. Okay, so when we talk about accreditation body, okay, example of this is UK, UCAS, ANAB, Just and others. So they accredit organizations. For organization, okay, a certifying body like SGS, BSI, UV, okay, so this certifying body will get accreditation. Once they accredited, they can now certify organization. And by certifying the organization, okay, they have an auditee, which is the companies. Okay, so they will now audit the organizations. Okay, the auditors will audit the organizations, and then they will issue you certification, the ISO certificate. That is for the organization. On the right side, this is the certification bodies for person, okay, for individuals. Now, for example, either this is a CQI IRCA certification, or this is exemplar global certification. So this training for lead auditor is certified by exemplar global. Okay, so there is an international accreditation from the body, the US body, okay, for exemplar global. So the exemplar global will now certify the auditors, you know, like, so for example, you now take the training for lead auditor course. Once you pass the examination, you will get a certification from exemplar global. Okay, so that is how certification and accreditation works. So once you have the international certification from exemplar global, that will now a written assurance that you can do a competent audit with regards to the international standards of ISO 9001-2015. All right, now let us talk about the process of certification. Okay, so your company, for example, wanted to have ISO certification. So how you will get an ISO certification? It actually starts with the application. Okay, so you will do an application. They will review your application. The certifying body will review the application. And once they reviewed all the requirements, there is an agreement in a form of a contract. And once the contract has been prepared and agreed, now the process of audit and certification. So the auditors will do the audit, and once they are satisfied with all of the evidences that you presented, they will now give you the certification, the ISO certificate. Now, what is the certification process? First, you need to complete the application form given by the certifying body. So there is a code that was raised by them. You accepted the proposal, okay? And once all agreed with the costing and other terms and conditions as per the contracts, now you can now proceed for stage 1 audit. Okay, so what is stage 1 audit? As I told you a while ago, this is the documentation review. Once they are satisfied that all of the documented are available, okay, then they will now take the stage 2 audit or the on-site audit, this one. But say, for example, in the stage 1 audit, they are not satisfied of the documentation that you defined and developed, that you established in the organization. You need to amend your documented information, provide an action. They will do the reassessment. And once they are satisfied, you can now proceed for on-site audit. Okay, now, during the stage 2 audit, okay, in the stage 2 audit, they will now do a actual audit. If they are not satisfied with the actual audit, you need to close the findings, raise, and then they will do the risk assessment, reassessment. Okay, and once they are satisfied that all the system of the organization is in compliance to the criteria of the audit, now there is the award of certification. Okay, and once they awarded you the certification saying that your company XYZ is a certified company, there is a 3-year validity. Okay, and you are subjected for a surveillance audit. Okay, now, how this certification will work? Okay, so I am showing you right now another presentation. I hope you can see this. Okay, so basically, you see this class, right? Another PowerPoint presentation I'm presenting right now. So basically, your company, okay, will receive a certificate with a 3 years validity. Okay, so let's say, for example, today is August 13. Okay, you receive your certificate. So this is the date of the certificate issued. Okay, so this is the date of the certificate issued, December 13, 2021. Now, so your certificate is valid for 3 years. That means that your certificate will expire on, when it will expire?
The voice is not clear.
Oh, can you hear me now? Hello?